So I'm making this video because I made a few videos about Gina Carano in the past, and her being fired and the unfairness of that. And I subscribe to a lot of people who are still very um, upset by that, and they want to rectify the situation. And I think that's great. Um, they were supportive of hers before, and every time she got that hashtag, and you know they want justice for her, and I understand that totally. But people seem to hope or wish or think that Kathleen Kennedy should be fired. Now, I don't know much about Kathleen Kennedy. I know I saw her name on things, and I thought at one point that she was Harrison Ford's ex-wife. I don't know if Harrison Ford had a wife with a similar name, or I just had bad information, or if I thought that she was Steven Spielberg's ex-wife because she, worked for him. I didn't know how she was connected, but I did know I saw her name all the time, so I figured she knew one of these guys. That's how she was a producer. Um, because she, had money to produce things. So then when George Lucas sold Lucasfilm to Disney and she was going to be in charge, I was like, oh, well, at least that's somebody who's, part of the family or part of the gang. So it's not going to strangers who will do God knows what with it, So then the prequel trilogy. It's the second time I did that. The prequel, not prequel, sequel trilogy happened, and you had The Force Awakens, and most people liked it. I thought it was okay. Like I said before, that wasn't for me. I'm, one of the kids who saw Star Wars little, when it was in the theater in 1977, 1978. That's when I saw it. I say 1978 because, like I said, I thought maybe I was a little bit older, so maybe it ran for a long time and I saw it in 78, even though it came out in 77. Anyway, point is, we saw it as little kids in the theater in its original run. I'm that group. So when George Lucas sold Star Wars basically to Disney, I was just like, I was upset, and I was like, well, when I went and saw The Force Awakens and it just seemed like a copy, I said, well, that wasn't for me. So, but it was fine. It was, it didn't do any damage or kill any puppies or anything like that. It was just very basic retread, and I was like, whatever. Then when The Last Jedi came out, I liked it very much. I said that before, and of course, The Rise of Skywalker was worse. Just awful. Okay, so you have this sequel trilogy, and for some unknown reason, it's a mess. But the person in charge of Lucasfilm is still there, and whatever she does, whatever people don't like about her, those movies should be more popular than they are. Those movies, I think, for most fans, are seen as lesser than the previous two trilogies. And let's say you take just generalized fan base of Star Wars. I would say that most people at least hate one of the movies. Like I said, I was iffy on Force Awakens, loved The Last Jedi, hated Rise of Skywalker. I think there are a lot of people who liked, The Force Awakens, hated The Last Jedi, hated The Rise of Skywalker. And there's got to be a person out there who loves all three. I don't know why, but the point is, if you did a poll and you asked most people, how many of these movies do you like? The answer is going to be one or two. How many of these movies do you hate? The answer is going to be at least one. So, under normal circumstances, somebody who is in charge of that would be in fear of losing their job. That's the way the world worked before. The way the world works now is these bazillion-dollar companies, they could care less about what the fans think, because what matters to them isn't even box office anymore. It's their shareholders. So what matters to them is their price on, the stock exchange. So if Star Wars is part of Lucasfilm, is part of Disney, as long as Disney's shares stay, steady or go up, nobody at Disney is going to make a move. So if Gina Carano gets fired and all the fans get mad and all the fans are on the internet complaining, but the fans aren't all shareholders who all sell their stocks and the price starts to drop, they could care less. The average person who probably owns Disney stock is probably people who just like to make money. They like to have a stock portfolio. They are interested in Disney insofar as it's something that makes them money, and they may check their portfolio, they may check the stock indexes every day and see for themselves, all my stocks are going up, great. When they will give a crap is when the stock price goes down. These people may not go to movies, they may not like anything, they just may like counting money. So just a random person who owns Disney stock may just know that Walt Disney was a long time ago. They may know about Mickey Mouse, may have gone to Disneyland when they were kids, but they couldn't tell you the difference between Star Wars and Star Trek. There could be people who think Star Wars is that time Ronald Reagan was racing the Russians to get to space, or have weapons in space or whatever. So those are the people that matter to Disney, and therefore those are the people who are going to count as Lucasfilm. So in terms of Kathleen Kennedy getting fired, what I'm showing this for is I'm looking at Box Office Mojo, I'm looking at the lifetime worldwide grosses. Okay, number one is Avengers Endgame, of course that's Disney. You have Avatar, Titanic, then Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. So the number 4 all-time highest grossing film worldwide is one of the movies that was made under Kathleen Kennedy, and its gross is $1.1 billion. Okay? After that, you have Avengers Infinity War. Number 8 is Avengers. Number 11 is Avengers Age of Ultron, Black Panther. So Disney has all these movies up there. Now you get to number 14, Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi. It's still in there with, wait a minute. Oh, I looked at the wrong thing before. I'm sorry. That was just the foreign gross that I looked at before. So The Force Awakens had 2 billion, worldwide lifetime gross at number 4. And The Last Jedi at number 14 has 1.3 billion worldwide. Okay? And then you have, let's see where the hot mess ended up. Okay, on number 33, Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker, has $1 billion. So, for the people who want their stocks to go up, with all those other, Captain Marvel's over there at number 26, and people didn't like that either. With, as far as they're concerned, everything's a-okay, and they want things to stay exactly as they are. And if people fired Kathleen Kennedy and that became a news story, because that would be a mainstream media news story, that may send stock prices going down. So the likelihood that she would get fired, unless she decided to resign and say that she wanted to spend more time with her family or something like that, the idea that she's going to be gotten rid of may be nice for creative people or people who want to see Star Wars be wonderful works of art, who want to see something that is particular to fans and what they would like to see. But in reality, they're not going to get rid of Kathleen Kennedy as long as there's no controversy. She didn't grab anybody's butt. She didn't drink and drive. She didn't do anything that's going to get people, the normal average person. Now, suppose somebody is, a Disney shareholder. They're sitting at home. They heard the Gina Carano story because it did come on mainstream media. They're going to have heard that this woman what's her name? Tina, they don't know. They don't know, they haven't seen her in any movies, they don't know who she is. Somebody said she was a wrestler or something before, they have no idea. You know, some lady who was on that Star Wars show or some kind of show that they don't know, um, got fired because she said something anti Semitic. And say those people know enough to know that The Mandalorian is Star Wars and that Star Wars is Disney and that therefore they own stocks in Disney. They may look at that story and say, I'm Jewish. I'm so glad Disney fired that anti Semite. I'm going to go buy more Disney stock. Because the only way the story will get to people that something is really wrong and something, is in danger of rustling up Disney is if it becomes a kind of story that gets reported on and will make noise to those kind of people. Because if Kathleen Kennedy did grab somebody's butt, that's the kind of stuff where people get fired because the company wants to make sure their stockholders don't think, oh no, what about that guy? This is what I'm saying. This is how Kevin Spacey gets fired like that, because Netflix also has stockholders and they wanted to show to their stockholders quickly that they did not condone any of the crap that Kevin Spacey was accused of. So get rid of him, get rid of the problem. Stockholders happy. Okay, crisis averted. My stocks are staying where they are. That's what these big companies want to do. So, as I said before, the only way, if people wanted Kathleen Kennedy to be fired, is for her to somehow have made them not have money. In other times, people would say, you know what? Rise of Skywalker should have made a hell of a lot more. You know what? But then again, are they going to blame the lady at the top? Are they going to blame the actors? They're going to say, well, it was a crappy movie. Crappy movies happen. It made $1 billion. Who cares? Doesn't affect me. Like I said, even if you're normal people who don't know everything about who runs things, and you say, oh, well, I like The Force Awakens, and I didn't really like The Last Jedi, but Rise of Skywalker was horrible. They don't know who Kathleen Kennedy is. They don't know whose fault it is. Normal people don't know who directed movies. Okay? They don't know who wrote them. So if you take the sequel trilogy, I don't know why I can't say it, and you take them as a whole. For Force Awakens, if you hate it, you can blame J.J. Abrams. You can blame the cast. You can blame Kathleen Kennedy. If you hate The Last Jedi, you can blame Rian Johnson. You can blame Kathleen Kennedy. You can blame the actors. You can blame, Porgs. You can blame whatever. Okay? If you hate The Rise of Skywalker, you can hate J.J. Abrams. You can hate the ridiculous plot. You can hate, Kathleen Kennedy. So when you know what's going on, if there's anything wrong with that sequel trilogy, yeah, Kathleen Kennedy should be, at least said, hey lady, get your shit together, make better movies. But you have to know. Otherwise, as far as the whole trilogy goes, yeah, you can blame J.J. Abrams too. It's clear there was no guiding force like Kevin Feige on the Marvel side to do all this stuff. And you can say, well, she hired the wrong people. And I don't even know if she hired J.J. Abrams to start off. I don't know who was involved first or who did what there. But, you could say, okay, she hired the wrong people. She didn't get the right. Or if you think that it's a lot of this controversy and a lot of the kerfuffle has to do with identity politics or any of that kind of stuff, being woke and all that stuff, that's a very internet discussion. Again, shareholders, people sitting at home, still reading the Wall Street Journal in paper form, they don't know what the hell you're talking about. If they don't know what the hell you're talking about, they don't know that anything's going on. They still think Disney is about a mouse with shorts on, and they just have the stock to get more money, be rich, and become richer. As long as Disney stocks are going up or staying level, There's nothing you can do about it. Lucasfilm is still just a division of Disney. Okay, so the only thing that could be done is if people started to see, people who knew what was going on started to say to themselves, well, I think eventually with everything going on that Disney will start to tank. And then you have a flip of the GameStop situation where people start to short Disney stock. And as people start to short Disney stock, then that will have an effect that would ripple in the minds of, ripple down and become a story that reaches the average Disney shareholder. But the fans are not those people. The fans do not have the kind of money to make you to short sell Disney stocks in the kind of quantities that would be required for that kind of crap to happen. So unless she just gets sick of it and she resigns, I don't think any kind of outside pressure is going to get rid of her. I think it would end up, for people who don't know what's going on, for people who don't even know, that Lucasfilm means Star Wars, for people who are just trading stocks every day, those other controversies, anti-Semitic remarks, Me Too movement type scandal, those kind of things reach them, and those are the kind of things that get them quaking in their boots on about their stocks, and they say, you know what, I'm going to offload these, and I've had a good run, I've made a lot of money, I don't want any trouble, I don't want to lose anything, I'm going to get a good profit here, let me go into my retirement with some cash money. Okay, that could happen, like I said, if otherwise. That's how movies work now. As long as they make money, it doesn't matter if they're good or not. Nobody cares. I mean, we all know that the movies that win the Oscars, the supposed quality pictures, half the time they're not, but the quality picture and the box office juggernaut generally are not one and the same. Okay? So as far as who's doing what and who's got a job, it's who's making money. And like I said, yeah, in my opinion, Rise of Skywalker should have made a hell of a lot of more money. And under different circumstances, when the world wasn't as money obsessed and all about the stock market, somebody may have said, you know what, Kathleen, you get your crap together, because we could have made more money on that. You make something awesome, or else. But to this point, there's no proof that she has cost anybody any money at all. Okay? So I'm not saying I don't want her fired. I don't want anybody fired ever for anything stupid. I think people should get fired if they stink at their job. In my opinion, she does stink at her job. It's not my job to fire her, though. It's not my job to sit in these positions. I don't want to be a person that fires people. But, for all the stink and all the mess and the fact that the movies have been of low quality or pissed off fans, in my opinion, the best thing would be to get someone else. I don't know if somebody like Jon Favreau would be interested in a job such as that, or somebody else, because that's the other thing. You remove her, God knows who you're going to get. I'm not trying to say, it's better to know, to have the devil that you know than the devil that you don't. I'm not saying that, but they could get rid of her and get somebody way worse. So it would be nice if they didn't have the tactics they do. They should have never fired Gina Carano. They should listen to the fans in terms of, if you still see films as something to be embraced and enjoyed and beloved and cherished classics. But at this point in time in Hollywood, they're mostly a money-making scheme. And in that way, Kathleen Kennedy is still successful. So that's why I would be surprised. I think it would be good if she was fired, but I really don't see it happening. I'm sorry.